Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I have another top 5 video for you guys on GTA Online, and on today's top 5 video, we're going to be looking at top 5 tips to make hard missions easier. And these are hard missions that we're going to be looking at and some things that you can do in these hard missions to just make the mission more easier in general. And I'm not saying that the mission is going to be easy after you do these tips, but it will be much easier than when you started. And some really hard missions, there's nothing really you can do on them, but these missions, there's some tricks that you can do to make the missions more easy. I'll explain in each one, so I hope that you guys enjoy this one. Top 5 tips to make harder missions easier. So starting off at number 5, we have the Kuruma Block for the mission Stocks and Scares. Now, Stocks and Scares is a contact mission. I decided to choose Stocks and Scares because it's one of the hardest contact missions in the game, and a lot of people really don't like this mission, and this mission is not friendly at all to solo players. A lot of people skip Stocks and Scares if they see it come up in their feed when they're doing contact missions. Now, what is Stocks and Scares, and why is the mission pretty difficult? Now, Stocks and Scares, the objective is to get a bunch of documents from a safe at Merryweather's HQ at the docks. So even if you have like an aerial vehicle, you have a vehicle like the Oppressor Mark II, you could technically fly it around the back and you could kill a bunch of enemies, but eventually you're going to get shot off because so many enemies just keep spawning outside and keep coming inside, and there's already a bunch of enemies inside the base. So it's pretty difficult to go through them, and then you got to go upstairs, you got to hack a door, you got to kill the enemies upstairs and crack the safe, and all in the meanwhile, enemies will be spawning behind you, will be coming up the stairs, and will shoot you while you are hacking. So it is not a solo-friendly mission at all. What you can do instead is, instead of using an Oppressor Mark II or even a Convoy, use an Armored Kuruma. And there's other vehicles that you can use besides the Armored Kuruma, but I find the Armored Kuruma that works the best with this mission. Take the Armored Kuruma, drive it through the gate here, drive through this base, kill as many of these guys as you can, kill as many of them as you can. These enemies inside here, these guys don't tend to respawn. The guys that respawn are the ones that are outside that keep coming inside, because these guys, they will bother you when you try to leave. So clear this area out as much as you can. Once you clear this area out, basically take the Kuruma and just park it and block this door off. Now, this door you want to block. Make sure you block it so that no enemies can come through, because the vast majority of enemies are going to be spawning right outside this door. So infinite wave enemies, they will constantly keep spawning, and they will keep running inside and shooting you in the back. If you block it here with your Kuruma, you can't get shot really when you're in the Kuruma, and they can't come in here. So then when you block the door, just get out of the Kuruma, go up the stairs, hack the keypad. When you hack the keypad, clear out the rooms up here, kill the enemies up here, crack the safe, get the documents from the safe, then go right back downstairs and just get in the Kuruma and drive out the way that you came in. And you might want to watch out for a few Patriot SUVs that go after you, but they're not really a threat if you're in the Armored Kuruma. So all you basically need to do, just take the Armored Kuruma and just block off this door. The enemies can't come up behind you, and you can complete this mission pretty easy solo. Next at number 4, we have Convoy for the Pacific Standard Heist. Now, this is one of the more challenging setup missions in the original heists, and this is from 2 years ago when I was playing this with my team when we were doing the Criminal Mastermind Challenge. Now, there's 2 parts of this mission that get pretty challenging. The first part is trying to actually stop the convoy when it crosses the bridge, and basically the best way to stop the convoy is just to get a bunch of armored vehicles like insurgents or Kurumas, take cover behind them, and just shoot out the drivers. Don't really use explosives because then you could blow up the truck in the back. And once you have the truck, now this is very important, and this only works if everybody is cooperating. If you have people that aren't cooperating, this is actually going to become harder, not easier. But what you basically do with the truck, instead of taking the GPS route, you just go all the way around. Go all the way around the Alamo Sea. So even though the GPS route is giving you there 2.5 miles, and you know it is the closer route, it's not the best route, because when you go down that bridge, you go down the dirt road, you encounter a pretty big roadblock. You go down a dirt road, and the enemies catch up to you very quickly, and you get shut out very easily. If you go across the Alamo Sea, you'll still run into very small roadblocks, only basically one truck blocking the way, and a few vehicles that'll chase you, but not much more than that. Just have your teammates follow you in the insurgent, either in front or in behind. Have them clear the path, get rid of the helicopters. You go all the way around. I guarantee you, you will find this easy. Every single time I do this mission, I go all the way around, and I very rarely die, but whenever I take the GPS route, that's the time when people tend to die the most. So just go all the way around the Alamo Sea instead of going through the GPS route. At number 3, we have how to avoid the helicopters in the Conjali setup. Now, the Conjali setup in the Doomsday Heist, this was Also, a decently challenging mission. It becomes easier when you get the Kanjali, but even when you get the Kanjali, there's still a lot of hunter helicopters that you have to deal with. But what if I told you there was a way to actually avoid every single hunter helicopter? Now, at the start of the mission, you have to destroy a bunch of supplies in the area, get rid of Avon's goons. I recommend just taking a Kuruma, driving into the area, killing all of the enemies, and then when you kill all of the enemies, here's the important part. You can do this with 2 people. It's actually easier if you do it with 2 people, because 2 people is the minimum that you need to start the mission. Have one person stay in the Kuruma, and then have another person get in the Kanjali. And don't have the other person get out of the Kuruma, because the moment they get out of the Kuruma, a bunch of enemies spawn. Once you get into the Kanjali, all you basically do is just drive towards Lago Zancudo. Drive towards the area where the drop-off is. Even if you don't know the exact area, it's going to be obvious when you get there, because you'll see a bunch of vehicles and NPCs standing there. So just drive to Kanjali there. It won't be marked on your GPS, so just drive there. However, though, unless the second person gets into the Kanjali, it's not going to spawn any hunter helicopters. So if you drive the tank solo all the way to Lago Zancudo, you don't have to deal with those hunter helicopters that spawn. So all you basically gotta do is drive it there, and then when you get there, have the person get out of the Kuruma and get in the tank, and you can end the mission. And that's it. You don't have to deal with any extra helicopters chasing you. Moving on to number 2, we have stealth and cashing out. Now, cashing out is a mission that I also mentioned in my video, top 5 things that many people didn't know you could do. And in that video, I mentioned how a lot of missions in this game have stealth, and a lot of people don't realize that you can do them. And the reason that I'm picking out this mission here is because this mission is one of the most challenging missions in the game. It's a pretty difficult mission, and this is the final mission for the casino missions, and it's where you have to take out Avery Duggan, and you have to take him out here at this mansion that he's renting out apparently from Martin, and you have to kill all of his bodyguards in order to trigger the Avery spawning. However, if you get detected, you have turreted vehicles that come in and pretty much one-hit kill you, and also hunter helicopters, so this mission becomes very challenging. And even if you bring in a vehicle, like you could bring in a Savage or a Hunter or other air vehicles, you could complete this mission pretty quickly, but then you still have to deal with all those extra enemies. You can avoid dealing with all those extra enemies simply by doing the mission stealth. If you go around like I am here from the back, you work your way up, you memorize a pattern of the enemies, might, be a little bit of trial and error, eventually you realize what enemies are the best to kill, and the stealth in this mission isn't as broken as in other missions like in Deliver EMP. In this one, the enemies can detect you for a few seconds before they ring the alarm, so they can even see a body and they'll run up to the body, and you still have time to drop them, unlike in other missions where you're instantly detected. So just run around, take out the cameras, take out the guards, and when you see a group of enemies, you just work together with your teammate, take them out together, and then you get this unique cutscene. This cutscene will actually trigger. It's a little bit different than the cutscene that triggers when Avery is running out after you kill all the enemies. You will have less enemies to deal with, and it's just much easier. You just take out Avery on the highway, he's going very slow in his helicopter, and that's it. It's pretty much over for the mission, so you don't have to deal with all the extra enemies if you just simply use stealth. Just take them out one at a time, get rid of the cameras, just quietly, and you can use SMGs, you can go for body shots. Not that difficult. Take out the guys driving around the cars, and you got it. You don't have to deal with all the extra enemies. And the number 1 mission that can be made easier, in my opinion, is the Vault Explosives Prep. And this is for the aggressive casino approach. Now, this mission, a lot of people really don't like it, and a lot of people are asking me, is there a way to make this mission easier? That's why I chose this one as number 1. The first thing I recommend you do is to buy a scuba diving outfit. You can buy this from the clothes store at the outfit section, equip it as a saved outfit, and do it before the mission starts, because then you can't equip it once the mission starts. This will save you having to go to the Meriwether area and fight more enemies there, and also pick up the scuba diving suit. Now, I recommend using some type of sea vehicle to land, like a Sea Sparrow or a Sea Breeze. Sea Sparrow works the best in my opinion. Fly over to the area, blow up the boats and the helicopter, land, get out, start diving for the first charge. When you pick up the first charge, a timer will spawn. The second that timer gets to 0, 2 helicopters are going to spawn. So you want, after you pick up that charge, get back to your vehicle, take off, and get out of there as soon as you can. Now, when you return, sometimes there will be 2 helicopters there. This is if you're doing this solo. If you're doing this solo and there's 2 helicopters there, all you basically need to do, land your helicopter and just snipe the 2 gunners out. Not the pilots, the gunners. And when you snipe the 2 gunners out, the game will still register them as 2 helicopters. That means that they can't hurt you anymore. You can dive and get the other charge, and no more helicopters will respawn. You can get the other charges like I'm doing here, and you can be safe and not have to deal with any extra helicopters. So just snipe the gunners out. That's all you pretty much need to do. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful. Top 5 missions that can be made easier or tips. If you have any other missions, let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. And if you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.